Hey folks, Sylvia's here, I'm on Leaf. Hey look, it's a person. I look forward to the point where I get a house, so that I don't have to keep starting my videos here, just for the record. Anyway, last time, I'm gonna throw this on the floor. Bam! Last time I did the first stage of the Barbarian test. There's still more to do, I'm not gonna bother with it right now, because the most annoying part is done. Furthermore, I still have crocodiles to task. I still have tarantulas to task multiple times. And I'm going to be doing those things, like, many times in a row. So in an effort to, like, break up the monotony, if you will, I'm going to... Actually, I should probably carpet. Wrong way. So anyway, to break up the monotony of just, like, tasking crocs and tarantulas over and over again, I will do, like, a video of tasking, and then kind of come here and, like, finish up this stuff. Do a video of tasking crocs, then go do a video of tasking tarantulas, and then, you know, do something else to try to split it up so that I'm not doing the same thing over again. So that's why I'm not finishing this right now. Anyway, right now my plan is to carpet to Dyrachia, and then boat from Dyrachia to Port Hope, and then we'll go from there. Although, when I get to a town... Hi... Dyrachia. Yes, sir. When I get to Port Hope, I'm going to stop and take a look at the price on some taming items. I'd prefer not to get a donkey, but hey, you know, if I gotta get a donkey, I gotta get a donkey. It's what happens. It's what happens. Anyway, I kind of use my Leaf videos for, like, pure commentary whenever I have things I want to yammer on about. Port Hope. And today is no different. So I don't want to start it and then get myself distracted. We'll wait until I get to check some prices. Actually, while I auto-walk here, I'm going to pull up my quest log and kind of see what my situation is on my killing the name ofs. Crocs. I've killed the Snapper twice now, so I have one more kill on him. I'm thinking I'm going to go do tarantulas. I'm going to try the actual tarantula caves, and if those are no good, I'm going to head to the actual, like, the giant spider place. Look at those. Not that. It doesn't matter. The... Bah, humbug. Those. Stone of Insights. Amera was apparently successful at the rise of something? The rise of something? Rise of Devovorga. Olympa, I do not believe, was successful, unfortunately. Olympa is usually not successful at those types of things. No teamwork, people. No teamwork. Alright, how much cash do I have? Very little. Carrot on a stick is probably a ton. Okay, well, no buy offers. Bamboo. Not that. Bamboo leaves. Those are kind of expensive. Apple? Apple. Okay, I suck at life, is what we've just established. That's kind of a lot, too. And the only other one will be the leech, and I really don't want to get that. Yeah. Well then. I guess we'll just deal with that when we deal with it. For now, though, I'm going to get myself some royal spears. And then we're going to go off to go murder some giant spiders. Royal spears. Purchased. Deposit all. There we go. Alright. So yeah, I'm just going to head on over to the, you know, I was going to go to the northern one, but the northern one kind of sucks. So I'm not going to do that one right now. Instead, I'll try the south ones, and if those don't work, I'll just continue on. Anyway, so my first rant of the day. I try not to rant particularly, but you know, it's what it is. So I was like reading I read a lot of news articles. I don't really watch the news. So I was reading this article about, I don't remember the school district. It was some school district, and there was a transgendered person. See, like, I don't know. it genetically and physically, it was a boy, and it claims it's a girl. Now, I don't think I buy that. I mean, I'm not gonna, like, automatically discount the possibility, but I don't buy that. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, though, this person, oh, great. Looks promising. Let me be disappointed. Disappointed. Alright. So on that note, I guess we're going to go to the other place. So anyway, though, yeah, this person wants to use the, like, girls' bathroom and the girls' locker room. And things like this have showed up before at other places. And it irritates me because, like, I don't really have a real opinion on the whole transgender thing. I mean, like, I'm not knowledgeable enough to comment, is kind of how I look at it. You know, like, I don't know a lot about, like, coal mining, so I'm just not going to really comment on coal mining. If it's brought up in conversation, I'm going to kind of say, I don't know a lot about coal mining, people. I don't really know what the situation is with that. I figure, though, if you think you're a girl, and you're physically not a girl, then, you know, there's an operation to solve that problem. And then you should get that operation. If you're not willing to get that operation, then I don't think you really think of yourself as a girl. Same with vice versa. I mean, like, if you're physically a woman, and you claim to be a guy, but you're not willing to actually get the, like, surgery and the medical procedure to make yourself physically a guy, then I don't think your belief and desire to actually be the gender you claim to be is really that strong. So, I mean, now if, like, a guy gets a, you know, a sex change operation and becomes physically a woman, and then he wants to go into the women's bathroom, that's fine, because he's physically a woman. But as long as he's still physically a man, no, I don't think he should be allowed to go into the women's bathrooms. I don't think that's appropriate. And I don't think that's, like, an extreme thought process either. I mean, like... Now, what kind of irritated me about this, like, news article was, like, the people supporting the transgender person, like, came off as incredibly, like, stuck up and condescending. Where they were like, people need to understand that there's a difference between sex and gender. No, I don't think there is, for the record. But more importantly, like, I get that your client, this transgender person, is uncomfortable being surrounded by guys. Okay, because if this person actually sees themselves as a woman, I could see being incredibly uncomfortable being surrounded by men. I mean, as a guy myself, I would be pretty uncomfortable being forced to use the women's locker rooms, for instance. I mean, like, the juvenile part of me is like, no, dude, that would be awesome. But no, I mean, in reality, I would be, like, incredibly awkward and uncomfortable, assuming everybody's staring at me and, like, judging me, and would just be, like, absolutely miserable in that situation. If I was a guy being forced to, like, you know, go and use the women's locker room. So, like, it's not like I don't understand where this person's coming from, but, like, at what point does the comfort of one person start outweighing the discomfort of everybody else? Like, all of the girls now have to deal with the fact that there's just a naked man in their locker room. And now they're all uncomfortable because there's a naked man in their locker room, and there's a man going into their bathroom and, like, peeing standing up in their toilets. Like, every single girl that has to deal with that is now uncomfortable and unhappy about the situation. So that this one person, who, for all intents and purposes, is, like, abnormal. Like, He's genetically, physically a boy and claims to be a girl. He's the one with like the abnormality and the issue. So that he can feel better about his abnormality, he's going to inflict discomfort on multitudes of other people, and that's just entirely not fair. I mean, get him the operation. I mean, if he wants the operation, he should get the operation. And then it won't be discomfort to everybody else. But until that happens, it's not fair for everybody else. It's absolutely not fair. And, it's like, I try not to read the comments on websites because they're always awful. But, I read the comments for these things to kind of get, like, a judge, like, an idea of, like, how other people view this situation. And, I mean, for the most part, everybody else is taking it too far in the opposite direction, where everybody's like, oh, it's like the gay lifestyle, they're corrupting our children. I'm like, no, I mean, that's also stupid. I haven't met a single gay person that's been trying to recruit me to his lifestyle, just for the record, okay? And I've met gay people. Not a single one of them have been like, hi, I'm gay, nice to meet you, now I'm going to drug you and make you gay also. That doesn't happen. So it's unfortunate that the only logical argument I can see to not allowing this person to use the women's locker room is the fact that it makes the other girls uncomfortable, and nobody else was really hitting on that point. Everybody was arguing about how being gay is wrong and missing the entire point. And I honestly don't even know if this person is considered gay or not. They didn't really mention anything about his would-be. Oh god, this is not a great situation I'm in. They didn't really mention anything about his would-be sexual orientation, so I'm not sure if he's attracted to men or attracted to girls. I don't know if he thinks he's a girl and he's attracted to girls. Does that make him gay, or does that make him not gay? I don't really know how the mechanics of that situation work, but I just thought the whole thing was messed up. And I've read articles about that before, where there was transgender people in a YMCA type gym, and some of the women were upset about that, and I know, I totally understand. I would be entirely upset about that too. Plus, whereas I would be uncomfortable being forced to use a women's bathroom, or having a woman using my men's bathroom, or while I'm trying to use the locker room, there's a woman in the locker room. While I would be uncomfortable in that situation, that's pretty much all that I would be. It's just uncomfortable, awkward and embarrassed. There is actually, for women, a legitimate safety issue to consider too, which I think is even worse. So if there's a girl in my locker room, I'm just uncomfortable and think this whole situation is strange, and I'm confused. If there's a guy in a women's locker room, they're all assuming he's a pervert trying to get a look at them. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, they would be right. It is probably a pervert. I don't know. That was just one of my rants for today. It just irritates me. People are very stupid. Let's go with that. And then kind of in the same vein of things, the other topic, oh god. It would be so amazing if I could kill these tarantulas, instead of just missing over and over again. Haste. Great. There we go. Seriously, am I gonna have to, use a mana potion for this? Ugh, are you kidding me? Ugh. Maybe I should go a little bit slower. I think I'm kind of, just casually walking in and getting hit by too many of them at the same time. It's partially, I think, a failing on my end. Anyway, the other thing was, I don't remember the state, but there is, you know what, I might be able to pull it up on my phone real quick. Let me check. Let's see here if I can find this real quick. Kim Davis is her name. I just don't remember what state she's from, and that was what I was trying to find out. She is a clerk in some state. I can't find it real quick, and I'm not going to bother. Kim Davis is a like county clerk in some state in the south of the United States, I would imagine. She, according to God, isn't allowed to offer marriage licenses to gay people, even though, you know, her job is to issue marriage license. And since the Supreme Court a couple of months ago said that, you know, she has to, blah, 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 she has been claiming that, like, God is a higher authority than the court and that she's not supposed to offer marriage licenses. Alright, good for her. So today, I suppose, she was arrested for not complying with the court order. The court said, you know, no. Your job, specifically, is to issue marriage licenses. You have to issue marriage licenses. It is your job. And it is now legal for gay people to marry in your state, so you have to do that. If you're not going to do that, we're going to arrest you for contempt. So she was arrested for contempt. Seriously, that thing hits me while trying to run away from me? What a piece of crap. So right now, like, the religious right is, like, you know, using her as, like, the poster child for, I don't know, stupidity. You know, if she has a, like, conscientious desire and is, like, legitimately like, nope, it is against my belief and faith to allow gay people to marry. I'm so morally opposed to gay people marrying that I will do everything in my power to prevent them from marrying. Not just, like, I will disapprove. You know, for example, like, I disapprove of... Actually, okay, you know, this is a good example. I disapprove of people committing crimes, for the most part. Like, you know, I don't like people that, like, you know, murder each other or, you know, break into things and stuff like that. However, I also understand that, like, you know, just because I disapprove of something doesn't give me a, like, overwhelming right to just do whatever I want at any given point. Presumably, Ms. Davis also doesn't believe in people committing crimes, but she's not doing anything to prevent, like, you know, people from beating their wives or, you know, stabbing each other or selling drugs or, you know, breaking into cars or anything like that. She's doing nothing to prevent these other things from happening. But man, does she hate the idea that two gay people would marry. And she's refusing to allow that to happen in her county. Which is, you know, I don't know, kind of weird if you think about it. But anyway, okay. So, rather than, like, resign, which is, I think, the correct thing to do, like, when you're given a task that you don't believe in, and you've exhausted all of the official channels, you know, you've challenged it, you asked for somebody else to review it, and after all these things have come up with, no, you still have to do your job. If you're still opposed to it, you resign your job. That's the, like, mature and the responsible thing to do. You don't just force a whole bunch of other people to suffer based off of your religious, like, opinions. It's just, like, that's petty, and that's immature, and that's morally wrong. You know, I have a whole bunch of opinions about certain things like that, and I don't enforce my opinion on other people. You know, anybody who doesn't agree with what I'm saying right now is entirely welcome to converse with me. You know, post a comment on my videos and tell me why you don't agree with what I'm saying, and then we can talk about it. Or if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. If you'd rather do it privately, you can message me privately. You can just not watch my video. I don't know what browser you're using, but I'm sure all of them have a way of closing this tab without closing your internet. You can click on any of those buttons to do that and stop listening to me if you don't agree with what I'm speaking of. And, I mean, you know, like, and that's your prerogative. I'm not, like, going to your house, tying you down, and forcing you to listen to my opinions. You don't agree with what I have to say, then you don't listen to what I have to say. She doesn't like gay people and thinks that gay people shouldn't be allowed to marry. Well, I mean, that's kind of her prerogative, but, I mean, why does she think it's appropriate for her to inflict her opinion on everybody else? That's highly inappropriate. Highly inappropriate. And also, like, morally unjust. And a whole bunch of people in, like, politics are like, oh my god, it's like the liberal left trying to, like, crush the whatever. I like to point out, though, is that I'm not very religious, as I'm sure people have managed, but I would like to point out that the religious people view their religious, like, you know, values as highly important. Likewise, everybody in like a cult full of psychopaths also views their beliefs as highly important. So I mean, like, what if I'm in a cult with enough people that we're semi-mainstream, and we have beliefs that are like, anybody who doesn't bow down to the founder of our religion, me, because I just founded this religion, anybody who doesn't bow down to me and give me access to like all of their personal belongings is considered a heathen. And heathens aren't allowed to marry. Heathens aren't allowed to own property. Heathens aren't allowed to go out in public. So if I start like enforcing my religious views, because like that's definitely not fair, and most people will be like, oh, that's not really how it works. But I mean, take a look at the Church of Scientology. The Church of Scientology is a huge church with many, many people in it. And one of their beliefs is that, like, essentially, like, mental disease and, like, any kind of, like, schizophrenia, depression, bipolar, those kind of those things are all, like, not necessarily real. So there was this whole thing when, like, Obamacare first came out and said employers had to cover, like, contraceptive services. And all these, like, religious organizations were like, well, not even religious organizations. Like, the Hobby Lobby is a good example. Hobby Lobby is like an arts and crafts store where the owners are Christians. So it's not like it's a church. They don't sell, like, religious artifacts. They sell yarn and paint and glue and, like, styrofoam balls and glitter and stuff like that. Their business model has literally nothing to do with religion in any sense. But because their owners were, in their words, like, Christians, they thought it was wrong for their, they didn't want to have to have insurance that covered contraception and, birth control and stuff like that, because according to them, those things are all wrong. Well, first of all, I think that's nonsense. Second of all, though, you didn't hear anything about a whole bunch of different businesses owned by members of the Church of Scientology that were refusing to cover insurance that covered, like, psychological help and stuff like that. They don't believe in psychological problems. They believe that, it's like a vitamin imbalance or something. And if you're depressed or bipolar, you just need to take, like, iron pills or, vitamin B12 or something like that. That's their belief. They weren't refusing to cover that for their non-religious employees in their non-religious organizations. Sure, the actual church probably didn't cover that for their employees, but, if I'm a member of the Church of Scientology and I own a, muffler factory, I'm covering my employees for psychological assistance and stuff like that, because, that's just how the world works. Utter nonsense that that was such a huge fight. And I'm glad that they lost, because, it would have been utter nonsense if they hadn't lost. But it's like a very, stupid, like, series of events. Also, like, my inability to kill this tarantula. Also stupid. It's very morally unjust, in my opinion, to, like, force your opinions on another person. Especially your employees. Like, I get a job working at your store as a cashier or something like that, and you're not going to cover certain medical procedures because you don't personally believe in them? Well, I personally believe in them. Like, what if I was working for a company owned by Jehovah's Witnesses and they didn't... Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, don't believe in, like, blood transfusions. So the Jehovah's Witness that owns my company doesn't want to cover blood transfusions, so I get into a car accident and they just need to leave me die because I can't get a blood transfusion after I get injured. That's utterly nonsense. Wow, that's a lot of tarantula. That is, in fact, a large amount of tarantula. I was not expecting that many. Run away! Target the tarantulas! And all these stupid, poison spiders are breaking my shielding, which is fantastic. Got him. Get him, got him good. Still getting hit, which is a little annoying. Alright, time to re-equip the ring. I need some shrooms. Shroomy goodness. How many, I wonder how many more spiders I have to kill. Tarantulas, whatever. I was kind of hoping I could get to hide for this video. That was the intended plan. Let's see, how many more do I have to go? Killing in the name of tarantulas. Ooh, 43 more to go. Okay, I think I can pull 43 more off. I don't know. It was like, I had this before I became, like, estranged from my family. Lol. I had this conversation with my mom about the whole gay marriage thing. And it was actually, like, enlightening for me. Because I realized by talking to her, I sort of understood the issue that she has that I don't have, and the confusion that's between there. Because, like, I can't, you know, I don't want to make, like, a generalization and say, like, everybody that's opposed to gay marriage has the same thought process. But I think it's probably pretty common. So I think most people who oppose gay marriage have this specific thought. And everybody that's for gay marriage, or kind of in my case, just in general doesn't care, has this other series of thoughts. And in general, my way of looking at it is like, it doesn't affect me, so what do I care? You know what? If two gay dudes want to get married, it doesn't affect me at all. Their getting married isn't going to somehow make me gay. I'm not going to suddenly be able to... I mean, it's not going to affect me in any way. It's not going to make my marriage worse or harder or more prone to failure. I'm not going to have a harder time finding a marriage partner because gays are allowed to marry and whatnot. So, I mean, my perspective is just in general, like, it doesn't affect me, so I don't really care. And since, you know, disallowing gay people to marry makes them sad, I would rather have less sad people, so therefore we let the gays marry, is my thought process. So when I spoke to my mom, though, because, like, that was the thing that always confused me, is, like, I didn't understand how a person, especially a person who's, like, because, you know, like, for all intents and purposes, like, I'm a bad person, right? Like, nobody is going to say, like, oh, that Sylvius guy, he's such a wonderful human being. Like, I'm a pretty bad human being. Which, like, you know, is kind of my thought process with the whole gay marriage thing, is that I only care about whether or not it affects me personally, and since it doesn't, I don't really care one way or the other. So if I'm willing to let gay people marry, how could my mom or other religious people that are supposed to be all, like, caring and, you know, wonderful people deny such, like, a basic thing when it doesn't hurt them at all? That's what always confused me. So I had this conversation with my mom one day, though, and we were talking about it. And she said, but, you know, they're telling us what to do with our marriage. And I said, you know, I don't really understand what you mean by that. And she said, well, it's like marriage in the Bible is between a man and a woman. And I said, yeah, but, like, it doesn't matter. She said, no, because it's taking, like, marriage is this sacred, like, holy thing. And the government is, like, corrupting it and twisting it and forcing us to allow something that we don't believe is important. And this is where I realized, like, the disconnect between me and her is that when I think of, like, what a marriage is, I think of it as a, like, society contract. Two people form a contract. There's, like, a legal aspect to it, of course. But generally, it's a contract between two people to... I leveled up. Let's print screen that real quick. That'll be my last video picture. It's a contract between two people to support each other. It involves, I don't know, like, love and all that crap like that. I don't know. I'm getting reduced EXP now. How terrible. So they sign this contract of sorts. Take off the ring, since I don't need it. And it kind of, it's like any other type of contract, like any other type of business contract. You do this, I do this. These are the terms of our agreement and everything like that. I look at a marriage as simply a contract between two people defining what they are supposed to do and so on. Which is why I don't see any problem allowing gay people to enter into that contract. As long as it's two consenting adults, I don't really see any problem with, other types of people being allowed to enter that type of contract. And there's a legal aspect to it and like an economic and a financial aspect to it on top of that. The thing is that my mom and presumably other like devoutly religious people do not look at look at marriage as merely a contract. They look at it as like a sacred religious rite. Like a baptism, for instance. Now, there's rules on who can be baptized and things like that. So they view the government as telling them they have to allow gay people to marry, as the government telling them to allow like heathens to be baptized or something like that. Like trotting upon their cherished religious like values and stuff like that. And when she explained this to me, I did sort of understand where she was coming from. I disagree with it, but I, for the first time, truly understood why she opposed it in the first place. Okay. Well, I don't know exactly what that dude's doing. I guess I'm going to go back into the middle and then leave that way. So when she explained it that way, it was kind of like it was an eye-opener for me. So, I mean, I sort of understood where she's coming from, and to a certain extent, I can kind of agree with her opinion. And that led me to come up with what I think is the best solution to the whole gay marriage thing. Now, at the moment, gay marriage is legal, so my solution is slightly outdated. But when we spoke about it, my mom, was perfectly fine with civil unions. She doesn't have a problem per se with, she doesn't believe like gay people can go to heaven without like, apologizing and asking for forgiveness afterwards. But she doesn't hate gay people. She just doesn't want them to marry. Which, is, kind of silly in its own special way, but still. So it's not like she wants to punish the gay people or something like that. She just doesn't want them to taint her sacred ritual, essentially. And she's like, marriage is our thing. Now, gay people can get, like, civil unions. And I said, yeah, but civil unions aren't really the same thing. And there's a whole slew of, like, legal issues with it and stuff like that don't work out well. And, there's just problems with the whole civil union thing. Trust me, there are. And I said, plus, you let, like, Buddhists and Hindus and Muslims get married. They all share the term marriage. Why can't gay people get married? Based off of what you're telling me, allowing somebody who doesn't believe in your religion to get married is the same kind of, like, affront to your religion as allowing a gay person to get married. So why is it okay for, like, a Muslim to get married? Or somebody who's atheist or agnostic or Hindu or Shinto or Buddhist or Jewish or any other religion. Church of Scientology. I don't really know what they're called. Scientologists? And she didn't really have an answer for that. And that's basically because my mom's like an idiot to a certain extent. And she doesn't really think about things. I spend a large amount of my time like thinking about things and being like, wait, did what I just do make sense? And my mom spends literally none of her time doing that. Like, there's no introspection. So whenever you say something that she didn't already think about, all it does is just irritate her. Because, like I said, she's kind of a moron. But it's whatever. So, she didn't really have an answer for that. But it got me to thinking, and I was like, what the problem is this term of marriage. This term of marriage is a nonsense term, essentially. What it should be done is the legal term, like when you apply for a job or, fill out forms for the government, and it asks you if you're married, it should not ask you if you're married. It should ask you if you're in a civil union. Everybody should be in civil unions. Gay people, straight people, that should be the legal term, a civil union. Nobody is legally married. Marriage is like baptism, a purely religious term. Don't die. Don't die. Come on. There we go. One more. So, gay people go through a ceremony and they get unionized. I don't know. Gotta come up with a better word than that, of course, but they get unionized. Straight people go through a ceremony, they get unionized. They fill out the paperwork, they form a civil union. Marriage gets sent back to a term just like baptized. Or any other religious term, pick your choice. It has no meaning outside of your religion. Taking communion isn't a legal term. The government doesn't care if you're taking communion. It's a purely religious term. And that's what marriage should be, just a purely religious term. And then Hindu people can have whatever the Hindu word for marriage is. Buddhists can have whatever the Buddhist word is for marriage. Muslims can have whatever the Muslim word is for marriage. Everybody can have their own special word for marriage and be on their merry little way. Everybody will, go through the procedure, fill out the paperwork, and become a member of a civil union. And it'll literally be that simple. And I think that kind of fills, for most people, that fills everybody. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are crazy and, think that allowing gays to become a civil union member will, herald the downfall of civilization or something like that. But the important thing about that to understand is that those people are crazy. I've heard talk about gay people shouldn't be allowed to marry because it'll ruin the sanctity of marriage. Okay, I don't know what country you're living in, but there is no sanctity of marriage. First of all, divorce is rampant. Most people don't get married. In the past, when people didn't get divorced all the time and marriages last forever, most of them were miserable business contracts. We're getting married purely for the fact that it's bringing stability to our house and not because we actually like each other's presence or anything like that. We'll grow into that later on, maybe. It's just, that's how it is. Alright, hold on a second here. I need to check. Killing in the name of... Alright, I have tarantulas. I'm not sure. Do I want to pick up tarantulas again? Yes, I want to pick up tarantulas again. Hi. Task. Alright. We got the... Yes, we want to spell task right. Alright. Task. We're going to pick up tarantulas again since we need to kill a whole bunch of them to get to hide. Alright. And I'm going to go navigate this through the northern route. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do this. And then after I go kill Hyde, I think I'll probably end my video there. Anyway. I don't know. It's just it seems so simple to me, but it's such an issue. But people talk about, they say this oh, it'll, ruin the sanctity of marriage, but divorce is rampant. Marriage was never a, bastion of, love. It was it was, a lot of times it was a soulless process where the woman was, clearly, below the man and things like that. And, you can say whatever you want about that, but the sanctity of marriage has been in the crapper for several years, and it's not because gay people have been allowed to marry. It's because marriage has stopped being a purely, survival thing, and is now a thing of, emotions, and human emotions suck. I forgot to drop off my loot. Crap on a stick. So why am I... Okay, I was why can't I loot that one? Gotta walk back and deposit all, unfortunately. So there's that. If you look at, the Ashley Madison hacks and things like that, that's a website dedicated to cheating on your wife. Or your husband. Although I've also read in articles that there was, basically no women on that website. And all the women who did sign up for that website, most of them were suspiciously using the same IP address, and were probably company employees. And then for the few actual women who weren't company employees, they made their accounts and basically never used them. Almost 100% of the activity on Ashley Madison was just men messaging, other men and things like that. Or messaging women and then being ignored. Which sounds pretty gay to me, just for the record. But anyway. I sell that here? Sick, I can sell that here. Alright, now we're going off to the wilderness. Go kill us some hide. Wonder if I should pick up some more spears. 8 seems kind of low. Let's pick up some spears. Royal spears. Royal spears. There we go. So, like I said, I mean, like, marriage wasn't sanctified for a long time anyway. And regardless of whether or not it was sanctified and whether or not allowing gays to marry will make it less sanctified, ultimately that doesn't matter. Just because my neighbors, all of them, and the people across the street all divorced and then turned gay, that doesn't invalidate my straight marriage in any way. So for everybody who's, you know, got a loving wife and whatnot, and a loving husband, and aren't gay and everything's wonderful, just because marriage is, you know, the sanctity of marriage has been, you know, thrown into the toilet, it doesn't invalidate your marriage anyway. So, like, that's nonsense. The other thing was disallowing gays to adopt. And that's like its own separate thing that can be discussed. I mean, you can't just say... like, single people are allowed to adopt kids. You can adopt a child even if you're not married. So, like... but every, like, adoption agency is allowed to set their own rules and go, like, we only accept people that meet these requirements and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's also just stupid to automatically assume, though, that if you allowed gays to marry, that you would also have to allow them to adopt kids or something like that. Those are two separate, like, things. And those are two separate things that should be addressed as if they are two, in fact, two separate things. So the like confusion there also just kind of in general confuses me. But also, like, I can't imagine that a kid being raised by two gay men or two gay women is going to grow up and be any worse of a person than a child that's born to alcoholic, abusive parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people are like, well, I mean, what if they get, like, sexually abused or something like that? Well, not all gay people are rapists. Unlike the Catholic Church, for example. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone there. That was inappropriate of me. Point is that, like, not all gay people are going to just are pedophiles and are going to just molest kids for the sake of molesting kids. And, I mean, like, I have personally known many heterosexual couples that have kids and have been horrific parents and basically ruined the lives of their children. My own mom was, like, a wretched parent. I ranted about my cousin, like, 2 Leaf videos ago. But his parents were awful, awful parents and were very heterosexual. Being gay doesn't automatically make you a bad parent, and being straight doesn't automatically make you a qualified parent. And that's, again, like, excluding all of the people who were parents and who were, like, overtly, like, physically abusive and things like that. And plenty of straight people, like, molest their kids, too, and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm like... That's an invalid argument in pretty much every sense. I like that I just came down and immediately got hit by that tarantula. He was just waiting for me. Just a very invalid argument. Bah! It annoys me. It annoys me. Anyway, those are my, like, 2 rants. They were kind of, like, connected to each other because they were both kind of, like, sexual orientation issues. Just irritates me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm off that topic for now. I'm going to end this video once I kill Hyde. Also, when I get closer to Hyde, I'm going to do what I did, like, 4 Leaf videos ago, where I'm going to split the video into, like, minor parts, and then use this as a, like, here's how to kill Hyde video. You may not have noticed it if you don't, like, you know, if you weren't actively looking for it, but, what I did that time was I, like, got up to about where I was going to go kill the snapper, and then I ended my video, restarted the video, or started a new video, essentially, and and then did the, like, you know, hey, I'm about to go kill Hyde, you know, the introductory of whatever I'm about to do that I normally do in my videos. Stopped the video after giving that, like, introduction. Started a third video, and then I went and killed Hyde in that video. Then after that video, I stopped that one, started another one, and then did a, like, okay, that was Hyde, you know, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, check me out on Patreon, Twitter, and Facebook, blam. And then ended that video, and then started a fifth video, and then was like, okay, this was Leaf video, whatever. Thanks for tuning in, people. And then, you know, I ended that fifth video. And then when I was, you know, before I posted them up on YouTube, I edited them together. So the video of me killing Snapper was actually the introduction that I did in video 2, the killing of Snapper that I did in video 3, and the closing that I did in video 4. And then that became one video, which was the I've killed Snapper video. And then I put the, you know, the original part of my Leaf video, and I connected that with the killing of Snapper. And then I edited out the introductory of the killing of Snapper, basically, and I didn't add in the, you know, the end of Snapper, and then I put the end of the Leaf video. So it actually worked out pretty well, but I do have to, like, set that up and stuff like that. And when I'm killing Hyde, I can only talk about the process of killing Hyde. I can't, like, talk about miscellaneous things like, you know, gay marriage. Ugh. On that note, though, I'm doing pretty good on these tarantulas. I'm actually kind of excited. Maybe I'll get night legs. Night legs would be amazing. This would be one of the very, very rare times where I'm able to loot something that's better than what I currently have. Very rare times. I mean, how often are you actually able to do that in Tibia anymore? I mean, I could go... Well, okay. Paladins, I guess, are tough. Because, Paladin armor until I hit 100 and get Master Plate armor. Master Archer armor, sorry. Master Plate armor. Well, that was stupid of me. But yeah, point is, I'm not going to get new armor anytime soon. A new helmet would be a Zawin helmet. Technically, I guess a Crusader helmet, but I'm probably not going to go kill anything that can drop Crusader helmets anytime soon, that's for sure. Ugh. I would be kind of happy if they weren't, like, quite so surrounding me right there. I will definitely take that, though. Seriously, I'm gonna have to, like, use a potion here, because my ring of, my life ring is already done. Boop, 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 boo. And you're not gonna have to use a potion here, but I'm probably gonna have to use a potion when we actually get the hide, and that's kind of annoying. So on that note, alright, yeah, eat some shrooms! You can never have too many shrooms, my friends. Actually, I think you can overdose on shrooms. Don't eat too many shrooms. But yeah, so I mean, like, I'm probably not going to be able to hunt high-class lizards before I get my hands on a Zawin helmet myself. It's highly unlikely I'll hunt anything that can drop a Crusader helmet. I could do the quest for the Crusader helmet. I don't know why I opened that. Force of habit. Yeah, I guess I, like, technically could do that quest, although I think I should probably wait until I'm around level 50. And also, when I'm around level 50, I can probably just buy myself a Zawin helmet and not need the Crusader helmet. And on top of that, the Crusader helmet isn't really that much better than the helmet I'm currently wearing. Leg-wise, though, I could totally loot night legs here, and I could also go hunt crystal spiders when I hit 50. And get a night legs from there. Unlikely that I'll loot crown legs anywhere. Likewise, Zawin legs, I'm not going to be looting them from anything. Boots of Haste, I'm unlikely to loot from anywhere. Yeah, that's basically a non-entity when I think about it that way. Vampire Shield... In theory, I could kill regular vampires and loot a vampire shield, but I've literally never looted a vampire shield on any of my characters ever. And I have killed so many of the, like, higher vampires, you know, the Viscounts and the Brides. So, no way. No way is that happening. But I mean, technically it's possible. I could go hunting for those. What an interesting assortment of random pieces of things. I'll take the Minto Horn. Alright, folks, here's where I'm going to end the video and then, do that stuff I was just talking about. So give me 1 second. Alright, folks, so hide's right through here. I'm going to go in. I'm going to probably eat some... There we go. And heal myself up just in case. He shouldn't be too tough, but you never know. Alright, so, I mean, basically, though, he's just a souped-up... That was awesome right there. He is just a souped-up tarantula. There's kind of nothing I can run him around, but the room's large enough that I can run him there. As long as he doesn't haste... I'm doing a terrible job at hurting him, though. That's great. Ah, this sucks. I just want K-legs. K-legs. He's gonna drop K-armor just to, like, spite me. Steel helmet, 3 platinum coins, and a time ring. Are you kidding me? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's go see what he can actually drop, just because, I just need to know. Also, the Tibia wiki seems to be slow right now. Hide. I didn't really need to get loot statistics for Hide. I just want to get Hide. Hide can drop Night Legs, Terra Hoods, 0 to 2 Spider Silks, Time Ring, Steel Helmet, and 0 to 8 Platinum Coins. So in theory, I could have got a Steel Helmet, a Time Ring, 2 Spider Silks, Night Legs, a Terra Hood, and 8 Platinum Coins. Instead, I got junk. All around. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, since that was a huge disappointment, we're just going to go back to Port Hope and then end the video once I get back. Well, of course, sell, deposit, do all that fun jazz. On that note, I have accrued a decent amount of creature products. I kind of need Ysir to show up at some point. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do-do. Alright. Oh, man, that was such disappointing loot. I don't know if I mentioned that, but man, that was such disappointing loot. Also, on a side note, it's, like, hot. And, I gotta turn my AC off while I'm doing my recordings, because it gets picked up by my microphone, like, bad. In fact, one of my previous videos, I hadn't intended on making a video then. It was, like, 2 videos ago. It was, like... hunting with bots and Nibelor with Sylvius. I hadn't planned on making a video there, and I forgot to turn off my air conditioning before I started the video. So for the whole video, you could just hear the hum of my air conditioner, which was something I wasn't happy about. I considered deleting the video, but I had already made the next video that I was planning on making, which I kind of forget what it was, honestly. Let's auto-walk and then minimize out of the game. Yeah, I made the DDO video, which is the next video up, and I'd already had that as, my last video picture. So if I decided to not upload the bot video with the air conditioner, I would have had to also redo the DDO video. On that note, people, nobody watches my DDO videos. What's up with that? I guess everybody's here specifically for Tibia and doesn't really care about anything else, but still. Still, it would be cool if somebody watched my DDO videos. Game's pretty neat, I think, personally. To be honest, I think it's a slightly better MMO than Tibia. Should try it, people. Try it. It's technically a free-to-play game. In the same sense that Tibia is a free-to-play game. Actually, I think it's even fairer to call DDO a free-to-play game. DDO lets you get everything in it without paying. It just takes you a little while. But also, you get access to all the things, a free account in Tibia doesn't get offline trainers and doesn't get access to, boats and things like that. A free account in DDO doesn't get access to all the areas, but it still gets access to all the features. So you should check it out. It's a good game. Now, if I could just get back into town. Also, it would be awesome if I could just kill that tarantula. Thank you. I got the hiccups. Oh, I'm not going to bother. Not going to bother with just 1 gold coin. And then dealing with all that crap. It'd be funny if I died. Also, I'm thinking, I'm not really 100% certain, but I do have like a webcam, and I'm still hesitant about like using the webcam while I'm playing the games. But I am thinking about like doing a just like status update video in the future, just kind of like talk about things. I don't know. I don't know. I was just thinking about how like this whole process of me making videos has changed so much since I started. Also, I mean, look, I started what 4 months ago, early May. Yeah, it hasn't even been 4 months since I started making videos. I have 413 videos up. That means I'm averaging 100 videos a month. Just consider that for a second. And like I said, I did get that job, and it's crushing my weak self to a certain extent. It's not actually that bad. And I kind of needed the job because otherwise, like, bankruptcy was kind of looming. Still, not super excited. And actually, yesterday was my fourth 4-hour day of training. And now I'm just going full time and basically, like, working by myself. And I feel like the training was definitely not sufficient. Also, I'm working third shift, so I'm going to be there from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The, like, ideal time to get the crap murdered out of me on top of everything else. Luckily, there's, like, a bar right across from the place I'm going to be working at, too. Wait, that's not lucky at all. Alright. Now we're just walking back to town at this point. If only I could kill that. I'm irritated that none of those wasps dropped honeycombs because, honeycombs sell for some decent cash, and, it's always nice to have some cash. But on the other hand, considering how difficult it was for me to get my hands on, throw these on the floor. The honeycombs when I was trying to do the barbarian quest stuff, I'm kind of would have been irritated also if I had been getting, like, an abundance of those. Because that's kind of just my luck. Be like, oh, I need to get something, and then not be able to get it at all. Anybody own that? Nobody owns the treehouse? Yeah, I need something, and I'm just entirely incapable of getting it by myself. And then when I don't need it any longer, I get like a bajillion of them. That's kind of my like life story. Get the wasp, get the cobra before it poisons me. Awesome. Get the wasp. Nothing. Nothing. I think bat wings are used in a quest. I think. Maybe. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Oh, snap. I'm kind of tired. The worst part about this whole job thing is my training started at like 10 a.m. or noon each day. So I had to be going to bed early enough that I could like take a shower, get dressed, and then be at work at like 10 a.m. and then noon. And now all of a sudden I'm going to be working until 6 a.m. So I needed to like push my sleep schedule furiously in the opposite direction. And yesterday was my last day of training, and then tomorrow night I go to work. So I really only had this 1 or 2 nights to kind of get into that going to bed after 6 a.m. deal. So, I mean, it's mostly working, and we'll find out tomorrow if it's worked entirely, but, like, right now, I did go to bed last night at, like, 7 a.m., but I'm just incredibly tired right now. And it was incredibly tired last night. Incredibly tired. And like I said, it's also incredibly hot all the time. I'm just in general miserable right now, people. In general miserable. Alright, folks. I'm going to just dump my stuff here. I really want the horse mount. I really like the horse mount. Dat Drag Queen. That's kind of an awesome name. Props to that dude. Props to that dude. Alright, get that in there. Get that out of there. I'm going to just sell the time ring. Time... That's not how you spell time. We'll sell mine for 400 gold. See if I can't get a bite on it. Did I seriously make... I guess I did make like 4K. That's kind of not bad, all things considered. Anyway, folks, now you just gotta walk back to, whatchamacallit. By the way, Sylvius is bidding on a guild hall, and I'm pretty sure you can only have one active bid on a house. And people keep sniping Sylvius's guild halls at the last moment, which is incredibly obnoxious. But once Sylvius gets his house, I will be buying a new house on Amera. I'm thinking about getting a house in Svargrand, because I will be there for a while. Hi, Ed. I probably shouldn't have thrown my Adventurer Stone on the floor now. Adventurer's Stone. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'll still be doing Crocs, Tarantulas. I got, what, one more time of Crocs, 2 more times of Tarantulas, 3 Carnifillas, but then I'm gonna be, well, then Apes also. But then I also gotta go to Svargrand for Mammoths and, Badgers. And then after that, it'll likely be Helheim for Bone Beasts. I mean, I might also hit Ramoa. But it'll also be Crystal Spiders and Ice Golems there too. Anyway, folks, video's over. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I do really enjoy it when people comment on my videos too, just for the record. So please do comment. But also, okay, I got a Twitter account, which you can follow me on. I post every video that I put up on YouTube on my Twitter account within, like, minutes, so you'll get an alert to every single video I put up. For example, my last 2 Leaf videos, I put them one up after another, and the second one got a whole lot more views than the first one. And I think people may have missed, because this is what? This is Leaf 15. I think people missed Leaf 13 and only saw Leaf 14. So if you want to make sure that doesn't happen, Prem Scroll. Good name, also. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I also have a Patreon account. I'm pretty sure there's a way you can follow me on that. Also, I post all of my videos on my Patreon account. Also, they're also, like, embedded into Patreon, so you can actually just view them directly from Patreon, I think. And like I've always said, I write some additional commentary on the videos on Patreon. Hold on a second, drinking. My throat's a little sore. Sorry. I write some additional commentary. Sometimes it's about just what happened in the video. Sometimes it's like, you know, my opinion on the quest or on the hunting area that I didn't really talk about. Sometimes it's something entirely irrelevant. Anyway, you might find it interesting, so check me out there too. Anyway, folks, I will see you guys later.